Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel, and I do have a new topic today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I thank who have inspired me. I hope they can inspire you as well. I will have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Ilona Nava, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism. Who did I forget? Rabbi David Asher and Yaron Ruvain. And as well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link right below this video to my first video, which explains what M.L.M stands for and what I'm doing. And today is part 2 of this series that's probably going to go on for a while on Shmirat HaLashon, guarding your speech. And I'm taking this from a booklet from the Chofetz Chaim Heritage Foundation, which I started last week. And I'm going to start with day 4. And this is called Handle with Care from the Sefer Chofetz Chaim. In this segment, the Chofetz Chaim reflects on the attitude of a certain type of individual, a sincerely observant person who acts as if he has either missed a very important piece of information or he has forgotten that it exists. We are speaking of an observant Jew who frequently transgresses a specific commandment in the Torah. Though he displays his behavior on a regular basis, we are not allowed to relate the information to others, because the person may not realize the severity of the transgression involved. As the Chofetz Chaim explains, there are, for example, observant Jews who have a permissive attitude towards certain bad character traits because they consider avoidance of such traits, quote, recommended behavior, and fail to realize that many negative traits, such as a desire for revenge, are prohibited by the Torah. The Chofetz Chaim tells us not to consider these people Rishayim. They're not evil people. Rather, they are good people who are in need of reproof. So you need to, let them know. The human mind is a complex machine. At times we may face a serious problem or issue, but our mind does not read it as such and accords it a lower priority than it deserves. This, says the Chofetz Chaim, is often the case with certain forms of negative behavior, where the person simply does not view the matter as a serious sin. But such a person can often be helped. If we approach him respectfully and graphically portray the seriousness of the matter, it is quite possible he will accept our reproof and change for the better. On the other hand, the Chofetz Chaim informs us that we should point out this person's negative behavior to our children or students and caution them not to learn from his misguided ways. As we have already stated, this is not Lashon Hara, because our intention is not to denigrate the person. We are merely concerned that others should not emulate his behavior. So what it is, we're telling someone, don't emulate this action. So-and-so did this. We don't want you to do it. So we're not trying to put him down and make him so it's not considered Lashon Hara, because you're trying to teach someone what they should not do. So that's the difference. However, it is absolutely essential to explain to the children why this is not Lashon Hara. Otherwise, they may erroneously draw the conclusion that Lashon Hara can be spoken in other situations. So you want to be really clear on that. At times, the Torah allows negative information to be related, but only under very specific conditions. Just as the Torah demands of us not to speak Lashon Hara unnecessarily, so too does it demand that we not mislead those who need to know the information. They must know that Lashon Hara is forbidden, and that only in this particular case it is permitted to relate negative information. We can compare Lashon Hara to toxic waste, and the laws of Shmiras HaLashon to a protective suit, worn by people who must handle these wastes. When a responsible person knows that he must deal with dangerous substances, he prepares himself properly so that the substance will not cause him or others any harm. That's very, very nicely said how that relates. So now this is day 5, called A Proper Mindset, also from the Sefer Chofetz Chaim. The Chofetz Chaim begins this segment by stressing that many people react incorrectly in cases of negative reports where the listener needs to reckon with the report and protect himself. While the rules of such cases are complex, the Chofetz Chaim reiterates the basic rule. The Torah allows us only to protect ourselves on the possibility that the information is accurate. Never does the Torah give a person a right to use such information to act against the subject or to cause him a monetary loss. And because the information cannot be accepted as fact without personal verification, it is absolutely forbidden to harbor any hatred towards that person. Finally, one cannot use the report as an excuse to cancel any obligations toward that person. The Chofetz Chaim illustrates this last point. A person with an established reputation of being poor is circulating in shul, collecting tzedakah for himself. Your neighbor turns to you and says, "This fellow's a faker. I hear that he makes no more money than we do." The Chofetz Chaim says that if you decide not to give this man money without investigation, or to give him less than he normally would, then you are in the category of one who believes Lashon Hara, because you're believing what the other person told you. For until the person is proven to be a fraud, the man, you have to accord him his original status, that of a poor, upstanding Jew, and to treat him as such. This is just one small example, says the Chofetz Chaim, of the consequences of accepting Lashon Hara. The Chofetz Chaim also deals with the situation where the listener has transgressed by accepting the Lashon Hara as fact. Now he regrets his sin. What should he do to rectify? So what does he say? The Chofetz Chaim offers a 3-point plan. Number 1, he should strengthen himself and uproot this information from his mind to the point where he no longer believes it. So you tell yourself, I don't believe this. He should accept upon himself to be careful in the future not to accept Lashon Hara. So if someone starts saying something to you, or the way I do it, I say, stop, it's Lashon Hara. I just kind of like put my hand up and don't let them continue. He should also confess his sin, do vidoy before Hashem. The last 2 steps of these steps are common to the tshuva process for any sin. But the requirement that we actually uproot information which we already believe to be true, this seems difficult to navigate. So Rav Avram Palm Shlita, now actually it's Zechrona Livracha, Zecher Tzadik Livracha I should say, because when this was put out, he may have still been here, explain how it can be done. He says we must immerse our hearts in the mitzvah of judging people favorably. If you heard that the subject caused hurt to your friend, tell yourself, I'm sure it didn't happen exactly as he reported, or perhaps he's going through some personal difficulties. Who knows what I would do in the same situation. Keep your mind focused like a laser beam on those favorable interpretations and review them again and again. If you flood your thoughts with favorable judgments, you will be amazed to find a gradual change in your thinking take place, as anger gives way to love for your fellow Jew. And one more day would be day 6, and then the rest will be the next time. This is called basic training, also from Sefer Chofetz Chaim. We have learned that a person is required to exercise his influence on members of his household so that they will avoid the sin of Lashon Hara. In this segment, the Chofetz Chaim explains why it is especially important to train children to guard their tongues. He quotes the Vilna Gaon, who says that proper speech and good character are acquired through practice, lots of practice. If a child is trained to avoid speaking negatively of others, then he will carry this training into adulthood. As we know, as we learn and practice it, the earlier you do it, the more it stays with you. He will have the necessary control to choose his words carefully. The Chofetz Chaim maintains that the reason why Lashon Hara was so widespread in his generation was that people have been accustomed from their youth to speaking whatever they please, without anyone ever telling them that there exists a concept called Shmiras HaLashon. Those people did not even consider the possibility that their words involved any sort of transgression, because they did it habitually, and no one ever told them otherwise, so they had no way of knowing. The situation, says the Chofetz Chaim, would be different if children were trained from their early youth to watch their words. If children were taught to consider the impact of their words before they speak, they would have the, quote, basic training they need to avoid Lashon Hara, o na'as devarim, which means hurtful words, and other forbidden speech. And Shmiras HaLashon would be considered as integral to Jewish life as kasher as tefillin. So meaning it has an importance. The Chofetz Chaim provides us with all the motivation we need to educate our children in this way. He assures us that our effort to help our children observe Shmiras HaLashon will make it easy for them to, quote, safeguard themselves with regard to this sacred quality. And he assures us that through this they will merit a beautiful portion in the world to come and all the blessings of life in this world as well. And in closing, I wanted to say that I hope, again, pay attention to the words of the Chofetz Chaim. I'm just reading them. It's important for us to train ourselves and do what's right and guard what we speak. What comes out, just as important as what goes in, because it holds a lot of weight. And I hope and pray that we all will follow the derech of Shmiras HaLashon, and that with all of us doing this together and all of us doing what's right in the eyes of Hashem, we will merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final everlasting Beis HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.